83% of young people say buy now, pay later makes them spend more than they plan to, not more than they could afford, more than they plan to. That is not a coincidence. That is the product. Her name is Naomi, 22 years old, part-time retail shift, community college, first apartment with 2 roommates. Not reckless, not irresponsible. Tracks her rent, knows her grocery number, has a note in her phone with her monthly expenses written out by hand. She is more financially aware than most people her age. She is also running 4 separate buy now, pay later plans across 3 different apps. She knows each individual payment. She does not know the combined total. That distinction matters. We will come back to it. The first time Naomi used Afterpay, it was for a jacket, $78. Marked down from $110. She had been watching it for 2 weeks. At checkout, a small banner appeared beneath the price. 4 payments of $19.50. No interest, no application. Just a tap. She felt the price shift. Not in her mind or in her body. The jacket went from something she was deciding about to something she was getting. She tapped. The jacket arrived 4 days later. The first payment of $19.50 came out automatically. She barely noticed. Here is the first piece of evidence. What Naomi felt at that checkout screen. The price shifting, the decision resolving, the body relaxing. That experience has a name inside the industry. Friction reduction. Afterpay does not exist to give Naomi flexibility. Afterpay exists to remove the moment of hesitation between a consumer and a purchase. That hesitation is worth money to the merchant, because every hesitation that does not resolve in a purchase is a lost sale. Afterpay sells the ability to eliminate that hesitation. To the merchant, not to Naomi. Naomi is not the customer. Naomi is the mechanism. Consider this. For every transaction Naomi completes through Afterpay, the merchant pays Afterpay a fee, not Naomi. The merchant. 30 cents plus a variable rate, between 4 and 6% of the total purchase. On Naomi's $78 jacket, the merchant paid Afterpay somewhere between $3 and $5. The merchant paid this willingly. Why? Because Afterpay had shown them the data. Merchants who offer buy now, pay later see average order values increase by up to 20%. Customers who would have left the cart, they stay. Customers who would have bought the cheaper option, they buy the more expensive one. The merchant did not do Naomi a favor by offering Afterpay at checkout. The merchant paid for the ability to make Naomi's cart larger. The jacket was not the product. Naomi's spending behavior was the product. Afterpay sold it to the retailer. The retailer paid for it in full. Most people, when they think about how Afterpay makes money, think about late fees. This is understandable. Late fees are visible. Late fees feel like the business model because they feel like consequences. Here is the evidence that they are not the main engine. Afterpay processed $27.3 billion in payments in 2023. They reported $1.04 billion in revenue. Their gross profit was $755 million. The majority of that revenue came from merchant fees. The late fee, up to $8, applied only after a 10-day grace period, is incidental revenue. It is the backup. It is not the plan. Afterpay does not want Naomi to pay late. A customer who pays late eventually stops using the service. A customer who pays on time every time and keeps the cart growing. That customer is the whole business. The late fee is a ceiling. Naomi's consistent spending is the floor. But here is what the fee structure does not show. Here is the piece of evidence that reframes everything. The late fee is capped at 25% of the purchase amount, but there is no cap on how many plans Naomi can run at the same time. No cap. 63% of all buy now, pay later users are running more than one plan simultaneously. Many are running 3 or 4 across multiple apps: Afterpay, Klarna, Affirm. In combination, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has a name for this: phantom debt. Debt that not appear on a credit check. Debt that no lender can see. Debt that the person carrying it may not have totaled in one number, because the apps do not show you the total. They show you the next payment. Each one feels small. Naomi's second plan was for skincare, $42, 4 payments of $10.50, a different app, 2 weeks after the jacket. Her third was a birthday dinner she fronted for her roommate, a group order through a delivery app that had added a BNPL option at checkout. $68. Split. Automated. Her fourth plan arrived in the worst possible way. Groceries. She was $12 short on a Sunday evening. Payday was Tuesday. She had used BNPL at this store once before, months ago, and the option was still there. Still easy. 4 small amounts instead of 1 inconvenient one. She used it. Now add the evidence. Jacket, 4 payments of $19.50. Skincare, 4 payments of $10.50. Dinner, 4 payments of $17. Groceries, 4 payments of $11. Each payment is manageable. Each payment is reasonable. The total is $232. Spread across overlapping 2-week cycles. Staggered. Automated. Invisible as a whole, because no single app holds the whole. Naomi knows about each one. She does not know about all of them. It was a Tuesday, payday. The money arrived at 9 a.m. She checked the balance. That exhale she had done every other Tuesday for 8 months. Then the automated debits came: $19.50, $10.50, $17, $11. Gone before noon. Naomi sat on the edge of her bed, still in her work clothes, and looked at the phone in her hand. Not panicked, something quieter than that. She scrolled through the 4 apps. Each one showed her a payment schedule. Each one showed her the next due date. None of them showed her what she owed across all of them combined. She opened her notes app, wrote the numbers by hand, sat there for a while with a number in front of her. The old voice came back, calm and clear. It said, "You knew what you were doing. You have always been bad at this." She did not argue with it. She took a breath, and then she opened a new note and started counting forward. Here is what the evidence shows. Not a conspiracy, not a scam, just what the design produces. The design separates the purchase from the cost. 4 installments across 6 weeks. Short enough to feel manageable, long enough to allow the next purchase to begin before the first one ends. Research published in 2026 found that 68% of BNPL users agree these services cause them to overspend. Among young people, that number is 83%. The average consumer spends approximately 6.4% more per transaction when BNPL is available than they would have without it. The checkout screen was designed to be a window, not a mirror. A mirror shows you what you have. A window shows you what you could have. The 4 small payment amounts are the window. The combined total, the mirror, is not shown at checkout. The merchant paid Afterpay to install the window, not the mirror. She picked up her phone. The checkout screen from that first jacket was still in her browser history. She looked at it differently now. 4 payments of $19.50. And below that, in gray text she had never read, the merchant offer, the terms, the fee structure. She had never clicked it. Most people never click it. Afterpay is a merchant sales tool. That is not a criticism. That is the business. They charge merchants between 4 and 6% of every transaction to keep consumers in the cart. They process billions of dollars a year doing it. They are good at it. But the consumer at the checkout screen does not know they are part of a transaction that was already negotiated without them. The merchant paid. The merchant benefits. The merchant knows what the split payment does to the average order size. Now you know too. Naomi did not stop using BNPL entirely. She did something simpler. She opened a note on her phone. She called it "What I Actually Owe." Every time she opens a new plan, she adds the total, not the installment, the full amount. She updates it when a plan closes. She started seeing the mirror. That is the only change. That is the whole lesson. If you use Buy Now, Pay Later, any platform, open a note right now. Write down every active plan, not the next payment, the total. If you do not know that number, Afterpay's business model is working exactly as designed. This channel tells the financial stories nobody else does. Subscribe so you do not miss the next one.